On the water today with Joe Raymond again.
Morning.
And Cooper. Cooper, you ready to catch some fish?
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna try and look at some topwater patterns. See if that's viable today. I know in early fall when we have real clear conditions, it can be a really good option. I'm good at buzzbait fishing. I have a finesse buzzbait, but some of the topwater plugs I'm not as good at, and I know that Joe uses some stuff. We're gonna do a tutorial on that today.
We're gonna try working some spook style baits, walk the dog. This morning, I don't know how it's gonna work out today. Last night, a big cold front rolled through. It's either gonna shut them down or I don't know. We'll see what happens. We're gonna try and get some to go, but no promises. It's fishing, you know how it goes.
Yep. All right, let's back this thing up.
Oh, there's a slob coming after it. That might have been a muskie. That might have been a muskie. Something huge reached on it. It's a whopper plopper. It's a big fish bait. It's kind of it's a Hail Mary hope to catch a big fish. Sometimes they go for it, sometimes they don't. I don't even think the fish under 18 inches look at it. Got one to go on this whopper plopper. I missed him right before. He's all pinned up. Oh man, when they hit it, it is violent. They want to kill it. I don't want to get these hooks stuck in me. I didn't even have a hook in that fish. It was just kind of wedged in it. I said no fish under 18 inches, and that one's like 16.
Maybe more than 16.
Heck, I don't know.
At least 17.
Sweet.
Nice catch, man.
Yep.
Let me see that thing. That's a huge meal for any fish. Very cool. That's a really aggressive topwater. I mean, noisy.
It's obnoxious. It's absolutely obnoxious. It doesn't get much louder than this. Jeff just had to blow up on a spook. Got that fish?
Yeah. I'll tell you, this is not something that's within my comfort zone of these baits. I'm not really, I'll say, proficient with them, but I think seeing Joe catch his first one on the topwater hard bait certainly helps. And this is that, Joe said spook, but I looked at his rods last time we were out, and he had it's a Lucky Craft Sammy. This one's gold. That was fun. It was fun watching him blast it. It's just like a buzzbait, except I'm pretty sure the hookup percentage on these baits, it's got to be, I don't know. You think it's better than buzz baits?
Yeah, you got 6 hooks dangling there versus 1.
All right, that's a good start. So part of me feels like I got lucky with that fish, and I don't know, I just want to get some pointers from someone who's more comfortable with these walk the dog style baits on rod posture, cadence. I don't know. You just give me a once over on what you're doing.
Spook walk the dog style bait. You want to make a long cast, let it hit the water, let it float back up to the surface, and then start your retrieve. Its twitch is the rod tip. You don't want to hold on to the reel real tight. You'll end up wearing yourself out with it real quick. I just I'm holding the reel, not grasping it, just real comfortable with it. The more you throw it throughout the day, if you start thinking about it, I'm letting the butt of the rod smack against my side. You just kind of get into a groove with it, and hope you get some fish to come up and clobber the bait. I'm just, what I do with it is pretty fast retrieve, steady, consistent. When I have a fish come up on it, when I have a fish roll up on it, I will stop it for a second, let the fish spin around and get a good look at it. Sometimes I'll come up and whack it right away while it's sitting still. Other times you got to give it a couple more twitches. They'll either hit it real aggressive or they'll just slurp it off the surface. It all depends on the mood of the fish. Sometimes the bigger fish, the big, you know, top class fish will just slurp that thing right off the surface. You'll think you had a, I don't know, a fall fish or something peck at it, and then all of a sudden you pull back and there's a monster coming up out of the water with a plug in its mouth. It's a fun way to fish. Sucker in the net.
That happened quick.
Woo, that's not even a 20.
It's a nice one. What'd you get him on?
Swing bait. Oh, that's not even a 20. But man, that'll go 19 at least. Woo!
Nice, man.
That was violent.
You smashed it. Let's take a look at this bait. Another, it's like a wake bait subsurface. Nice.
19-inch fish on a jointed swim bait. Working it slow, it just came up and crushed it. I'm gonna let this fish go. That last fish that came up after, it came off this grass bed I threw at it. We were talking and I brought it about 10 feet off the side of it, and that fish just came up and whaled it. I call that a splash and crash. It hit the water and I gave it 2 cranks and the fish was on. It's just, you can work it slow and they come up and it's just a neat freaking bait.
So it's midday and topwater bite has dropped off a little bit. So we're switching over to, this is a profile very similar to the big Sammy, big gold Sammy that I was using. So they were crashing that pretty good. I'm putting that on a dragon head. And what I'm gonna do with this bait to make it, because if you can see that all that plastic fills up that gap quite a bit and it makes for a really hard hook set. I'll go ahead and put that on there, and I'm gonna kind of gnaw on it like feel like I'm eating corn on the cob or something. But what I'm doing is I'm trimming how much of that bulky soft plastic is in the way of the compression of the bait in that hook gap. So all that did is just made, I'm gonna go a little more salty because I poured these with salt. Made it so when that fish grabs it, it's really gonna collapse down into exposing that hook point. So we'll give it a shot. I think these swim baits are a good match to the profile they seem to like already. We are going to kind of keep it in that topwater theme because they were hitting pretty fast retrieves, so we'll put them out there. And I like to burn them and skitter them, burn and skitter, and then if one jumps on it, I drop my rod tip, and if they miss it, they're going to go down to the bottom and pick it up. So a lot of those misses are going to turn into good connections. Top water with soft plastic, and I just watch it. You look for those dark shades to come up underneath it. You look for those swirls. As soon as you see something, I'll also do strategically placed pauses. Like if I'm at on a current seam and I bring it from fast water into slow, I'll drop it right there as it's moving across, and then just drops down. Any change in direction is going to be seen as an evasive maneuver. Same thing where there's shade, or if there's a rock, you know, I drop it right on the shade line. We don't have any here, but we got a rock down here. I'll drop it right behind that rock. I'll move it until it's behind it. Reel, and once it's behind it, net on this.
Look at that. Gonna pull you in the water, Cooper.
Good job, Coop.
Good work, bud.
Very nice fish. He was a fat one. How big's he, Coop?
17.
He's a fat 17-incher. All right, Coop got that one on that swim bait. Go ahead and put him back in. Nice catch, Cooper.
Good work, bud.
Swing it this way. Good job, buddy. You open your bail? Got all his jumps before we started filming. He jumped like 5 times. But yeah. Swim baits are doing it, but that was a fairly fast retrieve, so I don't know that I'd call it top water, but it was you know, near the surface for sure. You got one?
I got one on the Jeff Little confidence bait. I just built a little confidence in it. That's what I needed. It's a good one. Oh, that's a chunky fish. Look at that. Oh, look at that. That's pretty cool. What do you call these swim baits, Jeff?
I don't call them anything. They're just hand poured swim baits. It's a Lurecraft mold, very similar to the Reaction Innovations Skinny Dipper, and that's just on a dragon head.
They work good. That fish came up and slurped it right by the boat. That was pretty cool. All right, we started off this morning throwing buzz baits, topwater, Sammy plugs, whopper ploppers. We caught some nice fish, had a bunch of big blow-ups, saw some action. Midday, sun high in the sky, pretty blue skies. They slowed down to the more powerful baits, and Jeff suggested putting some rubber swim baits on. We put them on and ended up getting this 19.5-inch fish. We just weighed it. It's a little over 4 pounds. Susquehanna beauty. Oh, that's a giant.
I need a net on this. He's still green. He's still green. He's pulling water line. That's a good one.
We got a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Got our hands full here.
Woo. This was not on the swim bait. I threw it on our battle stance craw. He whacked it hard.
Whoa! I guess I shouldn't stand on that. I didn't realize what I was standing on. Get him in the net! Get him in the net!
Woo. Another good fish. Pretty much the same spot that he got his. He wasn't going anywhere. He's hooked.
Yeah, you stuck him. That's a pretty fish. Look at the colors on
I don't think it's as heavy as yours, but it's a nice fish. Pretty. This is the battle stance craw. We actually got a mold made. I used to hand pour these with a Lurecraft mold, but we've updated them. They got the same ribs as the old one, and we went through, I think, 2 or 3 different prototypes, making sure we had a good durable bait, but also one that would collapse well in the dragon head. Let's see how long this guy is. All right. and a half.
219 and a half in about 10 minutes.
Yep. So one eating craws and one eating minnows.
All eating confidence baits.
Yep.